My dear great people of Southern Cameroons, my fellow brave people of Ambazonia, the very resilient warriors of our revolution. Accept revolutionary greetings from me, Comrade John Ba Akuro. Today is Friday, October 8th, 2021. My people, I know that I promised that from this Saturday, beginning this Saturday, October 9, I'll be inaugurating a serious series. My coming out today doesn't mean I will not be around tomorrow to talk about this series. I'm definitely going to be here. But today, my people, there is breaking news once more. I'm laughing because, listen, we have to be getting accustomed to breaking news. We have to be getting used to the fact that our freedom, I've always said here, each time I sit here, I say, I hear the bells ringing real far, my people. I had a very big laugh today with someone on the phone who called me, and he called from Europe. I don't know him, and he was on the phone with, I think, 3 other persons who were women. And they said, Mr. Akuru, we really want you to tell us. I said, yes, I like to know what you want to hear. They say, we watch you all the time. We listen to you. I have listened to you for a long time. You keep telling us every day the bells of freedom are ringing. They're coming closer. We really want to believe you. You keep telling us every day we must be strong. We must be resilient. We must continue to fight harder. We should not get discouraged. We should not go backwards. That if we are tired and we take a little rest, we must come back. And you even tell us that even if we had contributed money and we felt that it was not properly used, we should look for avenues where we know be carefully used and contribute. Mr. Akuru, but at the end of the day, we are told in several audios, some people even call us and swear that they know so well that you are an agent of La République. So tell us, is it true that you are really just hiding your claws? Because we feel you, we get you, you seem so genuine. We are confused. Tell us, is it true? So that we just get discouraged and leave this thing at once. Don't carry us all the way until at one point when we are so deeply engaged, you disappoint us like others. And I gave myself a loud laugh. And I told them, don't worry. You will get so many people attack the messengers of truth in this movement. La République does not rest. And don't always bother to blame the people internally who vehicle these messages. Listen, my people, in the leadership of our movement, I say it with a lot of personal conviction. I say personal conviction, I may be wrong. But in the leadership of our movement, I don't believe it that a single of our leaders is really an agent of La République. I think, sincerely, that because of our greed, because of our thirst for power, because of our desire to impose ourselves on others, we end up being instruments in the hands of La République, sometimes without knowing. We end up playing the real agent without being aware. Because each time you promote the infighting, you want to grind this one because you have to be the only person talking. You have to make sure no other person raises their head. This one happens, you say, no, this man is an agent. Turning all the ire within, you end up playing the agent. And I told them, I've listened to those audios. Some have sent me all sorts of videos. Some have said all sorts of things. But I told them, remember, this same Akuro that today you are told is an agent, the reason I'm on exile is because La République du Cameroun had to end this thing on the 17th of January 2017. The only reason they didn't succeed in ending, after they arrested Bala Fontem and cut the internet and every other person was running, they knew by the morning of the 18th it would be over. But because I, Ba Akuro, was in a position where things could happen, and God simply, because don't ever think I'm claiming glory, no. God simply positioned me there, used me used me, and those who were with me, who brought up the ideas and we discussed that it made sense to transfer the mantle of our struggle abroad. And some, when the heat turned up, some actually did reveal finally that it's Mba Akuru who wrote the letter and that appointed Mark and Ivor and transferred our struggle abroad and built the bridge that caused La République du Cameroon to lose the fight the way it thought it was winning it. Now, by the morning of the 18th, they said the consortium is banned, long live the consortium. So I tell them, it is when the government of Cameroon discovered this that they started a serious manhunt for me. And so, if I'm able to leave this feat, destroy La République du Cameroon's plan, shatter their game, make it impossible for them to succeed, when they expected they were cutting off the head so that the body gets confused. And then in the end, I'm their agent, fine. Then perhaps I'm one of the rarest kind of agent that you've ever seen in the world. So I told them, listen, you will hear a lot of these stories, even about others who may not have the chance to defend themselves. But take note, we must not mar our movement. We must not mar this golden opportunity we have to give future generations of Southern Cameroon's independence because of petty talks. We must ignore them. We must keep our focus on the bigger picture. Today again, there is breaking news. Listen, I have said this always, that when the United States of America will begin to shape its policy, its African policy, and make Southern Cameroons a policy priority or an aspect, a standalone aspect of its foreign policy in Africa, we will begin to see results. My people, it does not only rain, it pours on La République du Cameroon. I have news for Madame Asheri Kilo in this broadcast. Fasten your seatbelt, settle down, and don't go away as we begin this broadcast. You are going to have a hilarious moment. Listen, my people. That freedom we have been talking about is close. And I want to establish this. Take note. By the time the Eritreans were fighting for their freedom, by the time they got to the 5th year, nobody was hearing about it. Nobody was hearing about them. By the time they got to the 7th year, nobody. It was at the threshold of the 10th year that some people around the world started talking about the situation in Eritrea. It took such a long time too before they started talking about the situation in Indonesia concerning East Timor. My people, we are making great progress. It's true that sometimes we are slowed down because of the infighting, because we turned the fire on ourselves. But trust me, this train is moving steadily and not slowly, quite speedily towards its end goal, which is freedom. Now let us get into the beef of this conversation, but especially don't miss this big news from the United States of America again. That would send Dr. Asheri Kilo around with a running stomach. I'm sure she will not know where to hide her head because the trash that she poured out in Bamenda has just been, given a huge spank. I'm sure Dr. Asheri Kilo will turn and look at herself, look left and right and ask herself, but did I really say what I'm listening to myself saying? And she'll be wondering if she did. That is why I believe, and I want to let you know, that Chief Dr. John Ngute understood the message. I have said on this platform several times that the biggest prisoners that we had or that we have are not those who are inside the walls in Kondengi, are those who are in big offices in Yaoundé, in Douala, in those big cities. The John Ngutes, the Ngolengoles, the Mbayus, the Kalitus Fulgentry, the Mbacha, all of them. Those are the biggest prisoners that need to be liberated first. I've said this over and over. I've said this on Afrique Media When they tried to confront me, I told them, those ministers, those so-called CPDM elite, they need this independence more than we do because they face the reality of the third-class citizenship in La République du Cameroon more than most of us do. And I say this firsthand for having worked with them. And this is going to be part of the subject matter of our discussion this Saturday, October 9. So, La République du Cameroon believes so strongly that the only way they can keep us in their column is by force, by the use of brute force. When they tell us that that is what they intend to do, we should believe them. That's why they will not tell you anything. They are not interested in dialogue anymore. Look at this. Prior to Dr. John Ngute's visit to Boya and then to Bamenda, this is what Eric Mathias Onangini was saying. Number one, he said, de mesures à prendre dans la conjoncture actuelle de la guerre dans le nord-ouest et le sud-ouest. That this, according to him, these are the strong measures that should be taken to ensure that they are able to put the situation in the southern Cameroon under control. And he said, measure number one, censure sévère de l'information sur l'évolution de la crise et gestion embedded de la communication et de l'information de guerre. This is what he says. I want to translate it. Nobody should miss it. He says, measure number one he proposed, and this was on Twitter on September 20. He did this prior to the visit of the Prime Minister and others. Eric Mathias Onangini, a court jester, just like Moja Moja, is no ordinary court jester because he is the son of Professor Joseph Owona, who at this point in time is member of the Constitutional Council of La République du Cameroon. And of course, we all know what Professor Joseph Owona said during the tripartite conference to the Southern Cameroon's delegation. He said if the people of the Southern Cameroon continued to insist on a return to federalism, the people, the Beti people, will break away and form a Beti state. These two, we will develop it within the framework of our Saturday program. Because he said that the center, south, and east will break away and form their own state if the people of the Southern Cameroons continue to insist on a return to federalism. This is his son today, Eric Mathias Onangini, saying that there should be some severe censorship of information concerning the situation in the Southern Cameroons. He says severe, which means that no one should be allowed to say anything about the situation in the Southern Cameroons unless you are supporting Mr. Paul Biya's genocidal crackdown on the people of the Southern Cameroons. If you are not going on television, on radio, to support Mr. Paul Biya's scouts, to support their actions in the Southern Cameroons, you should not be allowed to talk. That is measure number one that Eric Mathias Onangini proposes. Measure number two, he says répression pénale systématique de tout propos ou comportement constituant une apologie de la sécession. So he says criminalize any talk about secession. He's talking still about secession, or he simply wants to say criminalize any discussion regarding independence for Southern Cameroons. If you talked about independence for Southern Cameroons, if you try to justify that the people of the Southern Cameroons have a right to seek the self-determination or to seek to restore the sovereignty of their land, you should be criminally pursued. So that's why he says that you should, he says instruction, poursuite. Poursuite means, they will have to get legal charges against you, interpellation, arrest, incrimination, incriminate you, mise en examen, that is judge you and then sentence you. That is what Eric Mathias Onangini proposes as second thing. This means, therefore, that the constitution of La République du Cameroon must be suspended because the liberty laws enacted in 1992, which the freedom of expression and of the press must be suppressed right now as per Eric Mathias Onangini, which means journalists will no longer be free to say anything objectively concerning what is happening in the Southern Cameroons. If they do, they will be arrested, they will be tortured, they will be tried, and they will be sentenced. That is a measure proposed by Eric Mathias Onangini in the third millennium. He doesn't end there. He goes on. Number 3, he says rétorsion pénale contre les alliés ou adjuvants relayant la propagande sécessionniste. Listen, he says a serious crackdown on all those whom he considers to be distributing or sharing information or discussing anything that helps to propagate the secessionist agenda, to propagate any talks relating to the independence of Southern Cameroons, relating such propaganda. Which means if your media house brings people who talk on the panel and say, no, as a matter of fact, I think these people have a right, you need to, no. Those people should immediately be cracked upon, be picked up, be, treated exactly as they are treating Southern Cameroonians, because this far, those that they even allow to talk about this situation in Southern Cameroons are francophones, are citizens of La République du Cameroon. If they pick you up, who is a Southern Cameroonian, because you mention anything about this, sorry, you know your fate. And then number 4, he says suspension et ou interdiction des médias servant d'outils de propagande pro-ambazonienne. So he says they should suspend all media houses that report objectively regarding the situation in Southern Cameroons or in Ambazonia, because he described them as being propagandists for the Southern Cameroons. He's asked here, he's looking at media outfits like like Equinox, like all those newspapers that are reporting objectively, calling on an end to the carnage in the Southern Cameroons. No. Eric Mathias Onangini says, in effect, all of this, all of the rights must be ended. And then he goes on. Number 5 and the last. He says, traque cybernétique renforcée contre la propagande sécessionniste. They say in Africa that when the gods want to destroy a man, they first of all send him mad. He says they should track people even right on the internet. Crack down on people on the internet who publish anything that people like TGV, people like Nzumanto, and all of the others, people, in short, anyone publishing any literature that supports Southern Cameroon to Ambazonia on the internet should be tracked down. Oh, really? How is he going to do this? Maybe he's simply proposing that the government of Cameroon should once more suppress internet in the entire country. Listen, to put it clear, what Eric Mathias Onangini is proposing to the government of Cameroon is to declare a state of emergency in the entire country. He simply means that the government of Cameroon should suspend the constitution, perhaps suspend even the institutions, and institute a state of emergency in order to deal with Southern Cameroons. Oh, come on, we are so precious. Southern Cameroonians, I didn't know, my dear people of Ambazonia, that we were this precious to these people, to the point where they are ready to destroy even their own liberty, to suppress even their own free speech, to do everything to themselves just to keep us in slavery and servitude. Oh, really? Don't take Eric Mathias Onangini for a joke. What he says is policy. I say what he says is policy. Those are things that they have discussed, and he has to bring them out on the media to test the grounds. That is how Cameroon operates. So that he sees how the public reacts to this, and then the government will move from that. And suddenly here they have said, none of those things will stop the Southern Cameroons from being independent. None. Right now, I don't know if they don't see it like Chief John Ngute has seen it. The time is nigh. The Southern Cameroons have come of age. We have come of age. And there is nothing that is going to stop us from evolving into a free state. Like I said, when I get to the breaking news on this particular broadcast, I'm sure, anyway, for those of you who still have the energy and the strength to enjoy it, man, don't hesitate. Get a bottle of beer. If it's beer you drink, get some good spirit. If it's spirit you take. If you take water, don't worry. Take water like myself. And don't be fooled, because when I'm done with this broadcast, I also sit down and take a sound sip. When you will listen to that, you will know that if you were backsliding from this movement, you were already positioning yourself on the wrong side of history. Come back to the winning train. Come back to the winning train. Look at this. Mr. John Ngute gets to Bamenda. His visit begins from Matasam in confusion. Total confusion. We all saw it. Mr. Bia's scouts running helter-skelter, falling over each other, running, abandoning even their masters and everything. And the only human being, the only newspapers, because there were two, in La République du Cameroon, but especially this one, that it was a hilarious visit. It was great, it was tough. Is my friend, Mr. Anga Christian Bibgo. He's the only one who came out with this. Enthusiastic crowd gives PM John Ngute heroes welcome in Bamenda. Oh my goodness. And we see even from billboards that a lot of these women we are seeing here were chartered from, from La République du Cameroon. Because a lot of the placards that they carry, they don't even know the names of their villages. I'm sure you saw the one that said Donga versus is it Bangasina or whatever. Please just allow me to call anyone. My people, I bet you I'm surprised whether this is still journalism or did he have eyes? Did he see exactly what was happening? Did he take note of what was happening? Because even at the commercial avenue, shy of those who filled the Tribune, of course, government officials brought from left and right, where a few of these women brought in buses and all of those things. But for him, it was so hilarious. He did not see or hear what a good lot of other people heard. Now, I have the longer version of this conversation from Mr. John Ngute. I have the entire interview. I'm not bringing it today because we have, greater, some more time to talk about this more in depth tomorrow. But let's get into this briefly. Listen.
Be honest to ourselves. A lot has been done. That is why the president sent me to come here to tell you that it is time. It is time that we regain our territory. We regain our independence. We regain our sovereignty, our normalcy, our dignity. Be honest to ourselves. A lot has been done. That is why the president sent me to come here to tell you.
I could let you listen to this excerpt over and over and over. Like I said, I have the entire 12 minutes that this lasted, and so not just this abridged version. And we'll be relaxing with it tomorrow. But listen, I took just this short part because I want to let us understand what happened here. John Ngute had a clear message here, a clear message in the entire interview. We heard him here. You see, he didn't just stumble. He didn't just stumble. No. He intended to pass a message. I want you to think of this. You have a relative. The relative suddenly meets you with a group of people. And the people are all smiling to give the impression they are his friends. But he knows, he is the only one who knows that he is their captive. They are his captors. And then you meet him and then there is no way he will tell you straight that this is what is happening to me. The only thing he will do is seem to stumble, seem to slip, seem to even stammer in the hope that you pick out his or her message. That is the hope they have. That you pick out his or her message and run away with it. These truths are coming out today that I said earlier, a long time ago. These people are more prisoners than Sisiko Ayuktabe and co. who are in Konengi and others who are in other dungeons in La République du Cameroon, around the country and around La République du Cameroon and in some parts of southern Cameroons. That is why I say to you that the prisoners are speaking. Listen to them. The prisoners are speaking through Chief Dr. John Ngute. Listen to them. Now listen. This is the message John Ngute had to pass. He says three things. It's not by error that only these words come to his mouth first before he starts babbling. Number one, when it is time for us to regain our independence. He says it. It is time for us to do what? To take back our territory. It is time for us to take back our territory. It is time. For he looks for a word and then comes back, he gets the real word he wants to use. It is time for us to restore our sovereignty and says we must take back our dignity. What else? What message else did you want to get from Chief Dr. John Ngute? Further in this discussion, he says, if the people of Southern Cameroons continue to pound Mr. Paul Biya's scouts, because that's what it means. If the people of Southern Cameroons would, their sons, like no pity, and all the others, continue to pound Mr. Paul Biya's scouts, the people of La République du Cameroon will soon chase us out of their territory because what are we doing? We're harming their children. Oh, he did not end there. I'm highlighting them because I will tell you exactly what this message is. And the third thing he says is that during the referendum, the people of Bamenda voted in majority, overwhelmingly, for us to join La République du Cameroon in 1961 and on February 11. He says, shy of those in Cambe, a majority of those who voted for us to join La République du Cameroon were the people of Bamenda. Of course, the figures historically are clear. Those in the southwest, where Ndele campaigned seriously, favored us joining Nigeria. But the people of Bamenda voted in majority, and it's a fact, for joining La République du Cameroon. Recalling this historical fact is not also an error. So people, I want us now to decode this message. Message number one. Chief Dr. John Ngute wants the people of the Southern Cameroons to know that he, and all the other CPDM elite in that stuff have been pretending all this while because they are taken hostage. And they need this freedom. If others have said it and you have not believed them, listen to his voice and know that the time for us to get that freedom is now. He highlights the things we have always talked about. Restore our independence. That's get back our independence. Recover our territory. Ensure that we restore the sovereignty of the Southern Cameroons, and most especially, take back our dignity. This was not by error. He made this very clear, even if he ended up trying now to stumble or babble, because he needed to do that for safety. Then next, when Chief Dr. John Ngute says, the people of La République du Cameroon will begin chasing us away, this is the message we have passed over and over. That our people who continue to run into La République du Cameroon, our people who continue to hang on to La République du Cameroon, continue to invest in La République du Cameroon, you are slowing down our movement. It is time to go back home. Chief Dr. John Ngute has now reminded you officially that it is time to go back home. Don't wait to be chased away. Ask yourself, are we the ones affecting their children? What are their children doing in our territory? And who are they? Are they ordinary citizens? Of course, because they have ordinary citizens there going about their activities normally and nobody asking them anything. But these are scouts. Scouts sent with the intention to cause us harm, to rape, to maim, to kill, to conduct scorched earth policy, to do all sorts of, to visit us with all kinds of havoc. Listen. And he says, the people will soon chase us away. Because we have people in the east, in the north, in the west, in the south, and everything. This is a clarion call. Chief Dr. John Ngute is telling you, go back home before it gets late. Go back home because it is time for us to restore our independence. It's time for us to take back our territory. It is time for us to assert the sovereignty that we have over our land. It is time for us to take back our dignity. Don't continue to stay in the wilderness. Go back home. Dr. John Ngute's message couldn't be clearer, my people. If you don't understand him, you make an error. And the third message Dr. John Ngute says this. To those who continue to say that, oh, Bamenda or the northern zone is the epicenter of the movement because of people like trouble, no. He justifies this. He doesn't come there with that thing people call Northwest Southwest divide. No. Dr. John Ngute comes to justify why Bamenda is and should be the epicenter of this movement. Because he says, you, the people of Bamenda, took us into this mess. It is normal that you take the lead in getting us back out of the mess. How else do you want to hear? This is what Chief Dr. John Ngute is saying clearly, neatly. You, the people of Bamenda, by your votes, you overwhelmingly took us into this mess because SML Endele had said clear that going to join La République du Cameroon, we were going to get into fire. And of course, you people of Bamenda overwhelmingly took us into this fire where we are burning today. Thank God you are taking the lead, and you must continue to take the lead to get us out of this fire. I hope the people of Bamenda get the message clear. I hope we all get the message clearly. He is not coming to say, oh, they are saying that you are troublemakers. No. He gives the historical justification for why it has to be the epicenter. We have to do correction. We have to rectify the situation which he says we contributed for the most part in creating. So Dr. John Ngute came to Bamenda with a big message, very big message, a message of freedom. He came to Bamenda with a message of determination. He came to Bamenda to urge the people to be resilient. And for those who thought it was a mistake, look at this again. Because those who say it was a slip of the tongue will not slip the first time to talk about the need for us to restore, to get to assert our independence, restore our dignity, take back our territory and exercise sovereignty over our land. Those words, they could not just come. If it were a slip, how again could he sleep another time? By saying that the people of La République du Cameroon will soon send us away. By reminding us we need to go home. If you consider that one too a sleep, then why will he sleep again? By reminding the people of Bamenda, you took us into this mess. Do everything to take us out of it. And if you still consider that a sleep, look at this umbrella. What colors are these? And the policemen are standing under these colors. Previously, we have seen these scouts arrest people and detain them for carrying plastic paper, which is produced naturally with these colors, which are produced long before we ever chose these colors. We ever started parading these colors in our streets. Again, it is not by chance. It is not by error. That is why you notice that the Francophones, the citizens of La République du Cameroon, they are not naive. They understood it. They look, that is why they wrote this. That's why they picked on this. They didn't talk about the story of one, they call him General Scatter or General Build or General Assemble. No. The Défi Actuel didn't go for that. They saw the news in this. Et si les anglophones continuent ainsi, le reste du pays va les rejeter. They know the message. They picked it up. Even if they didn't use those specific words, go read the analysis in that article. It will tell you what it is saying. I know that in some quarters we want to feel that he is already preparing the scene for a Rwanda type kind of thing. He is advising you, brothers and sisters of the Southern Cameroons, who are still dreaming that La République du Cameroon is home to you, that it is time for you to move before it gets late. It's time for you to move before you get run over. He is sitting through some of those meetings. He already knows that that is the next plan, to vent their anger and frustration on us. So he is warning. If you are smart, you pick up the message. If you are foolish and wonder they should break it down, they should break it down and tell you directly, you will confirm it when it begins to happen to you. My people, we have to be wise. We have to be smart. We have to be intelligent. We have to be ourselves, the Southern Cameroonians that we are, brave, intelligent, and very analytical set of people who know that we don't just take anything at the surface value. My people, just look at this. After doing all of this, he didn't bother to make a lot of efforts to this other piece of drama. Look, Chief Dr. John Ngute just wanted all of us to understand these people are stand here and present to you that they are repentant Ambas. They are not. Because if they were, they'll leave their faces open. They'll allow everyone to see them, to know them, to identify them. These are some of the scouts Bisabia sent to our land. And he has to do this staging. And to do it, they do it in a real manner. No. Because in normal circumstances, they will put them out there with their faces. You come and stand and talk. I am this, I am that, and I have. Look at them. I don't know how else our people want to be told a story. Chief Dr. John Ngute, by doing this, just wanted, making it easy for us to understand this is not genuine. Listen to the message I've passed to you. And then when he does this and clears, I just get now surprised to listen to someone, Dr. Asheri Kilo, who went to some of the best schools in the Southern Cameroons. I mean, some of the best schools in Southern Cameroons. She went to Seka. Went to some of the good schools in Southern Cameroons. And that her father, Kilo, was brutally terminated, brutally deleted by Ahijo for this same cause. Because he was someone who will not close his eyes to injustice. He was brutally deleted. And his own daughter today wants that old man to turn in his grave and begin wondering whether he had needed perhaps to do a DNA while he was alive before handing her his name. This is the truth. Because all the education wasted. Everything wasted. That's the truth. Just listen to Asheri Kilo. And you realize that even the primary school people wouldn't speak like this. Just listen.
He just, reiterated some of the points that we have been making, that we needed to be truthful and frank to these young people. We need to tell them the truth. They will never have a Southern Cameroon. Never. So the sooner they understand that the government has given us regional assemblies, which within that, the special status as well, that we can use to reinforce our region, to do the things that we would love to have in our regions. We should take that and run with it, instead of staying away in the bushes. This is, of course, he just, reiterated some of the points that we have been...
Oh my goodness. I know that in all human endeavors, you never, ever say never. No. Forbidden. You don't use the expression never. Man is dynamic. Change is the most permanent thing in this life. So to get someone who has gone to school right to this point and is a daughter of some admin carrying his name, coming to say these kind of things is ridiculous. That is why a U.S. diplomat has responded to her. In fact, she spoke in Bamenda, and the answer comes from Washington, United States of America. A big span like this, boom, boom, onto Asheri Kilo. And while she is talking this trash, just watch what is going on in her native Kikaikom, there in Bui, where she hails from. Just watch and listen.
In our houses in Kikaikom, we thank the head of state. Now, thank you so the bone houses with the man so we come on the camp so you don't come here gone pass yet. Start the bone houses. You don't come start now guy come see him. And I see now on that now the solution that no na bonam. And I'm fine. Whether with the house and our house.
So you see, my people, that while Asheri Kilo is there running her mouth, that there will never be anything called Southern Cameroons. Paul Bia's scouts are there chasing her mothers, chasing her grannies, chasing her cousins, her sisters, her brothers, her nephews, her everybody into the forest to go and live in the wild with snakes and wild animals. Why Asheri Kilo is there running her mouth? Because they gave her a small position of secretary to a minister. Well, listen, my people, when they say secrétaire d'État, auprès du ministre, they don't say secrétaire d'État au ministère, they say secrétaire d'État auprès du ministre. That is a secretary of state to the minister. To the minister. So she is the minister's secretary. That's all she is. She can't take any initiative. She can't take any decision. She can't influence anything. For that, Asheri Kilo is ready to auction her people. For that, Asheri Kilo desecrates the father's name. A brave man. A brave man. A man who was a real man. A real proud and salt man. The proud son of the Southern Cameroons. Who stood up when a lot of us were even yet to be born, to say no to Ahijo. And he was deleted. And today, this girl tries to desecrate that name. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Whatever happened to the education she had? Wasted. And now, here comes Honorable Tibonagi Jr. He answers to Asheri Kilo. He says, we all know this tweet is today, Saturday, October 8, 2021, and it was at 3:56 p.m. Eastern Time. 3:56 p.m. Eastern Time. Less than 2 hours ago that he said this. We all know how Southern Cameroon crisis will end. Listen, for the first time, he doesn't talk about Anglophones at the start. He refers to Southern Cameroon, the historical construct that we all know. Are we getting there, people? Am I talking? Is someone listening to me? I say for the first time, he's talking specifically about Southern Cameroon. We all know how Southern Cameroon crisis will end. Anglophones will gain their rights either in a genuine federation or a breakaway state, and I choose a breakaway state. Whether weeks, months, years, or decades, it will come. Human spirit, like the lion, is indomitable. Human spirit, like the lions, is indomitable. Cameroon government should come to its senses. That was the breaking news, my people. Who could say it better? Who could say it better? You want to take another look at it? I know it's circulating already on social media, everywhere on WhatsApp forum, but I just wanted to do this interpretation so you understand. Listen, the choice of words is not by chance, not by error. He says, we all know how Southern Cameroon crisis will end. Take note, Southern Cameroon. At first, they say Anglophone, Anglophone, Anglophone. No, there was nothing about it. So Anglophone, the use of Anglophone comes secondary to indicate that I know Southern Cameroons are a people. It's an entity under international law. And if you have forgotten, the Human Rights Court of the African Union in Banjul, in the Gambia, declared in 2009 that the people of the Southern Cameroons are recognized as a people under international law. And they asked the government of Cameroon to immediately engage in meaningful dialogue with the people of the Southern Cameroons. And so today, when you hear Honorable Tibonagi say clear, he initially, do we remember when he said in Congress that talking about an independent Southern Cameroons was unrealistic? Today, this is the same Tibonagi. I tell people, time evolves. People's perceptions of things evolve. The determination of the people of the Southern Cameroons, our resilience, my people, our resilience, our focus, our sacrifices for 5 steady years, giving La République du Cameroun nose bleeding, is beginning to convince the world that, oh yes, we have to start getting ready to receive a new country in the world called the Southern Cameroons, aka Ambazonia, because we will rename it Ambazonia or something else if we choose. But we already have Ambazonia. My people, listen. Previously, he said, you can't fight what is in the spirit with force. Today, he is more explicit than ever before. And we saw in my last broadcast, when I explained crescendo, how the institutions, the legislative and executive arm of the government in the United States of America is agreeing publicly on Twitter as to a clear-cut policy on the situation in the southern Cameroons. La République du Cameroon, whether I like it or not, you will come to the table. Eric Matthias Onangini won't let them because they have no arguments. And that is why Honorable Tibonagi says, whether weeks, months, years, or decades, it will come to pass. Human spirit, like the lions, is indomitable. I mean, if you were getting discouraged, be encouraged. If you spend your time calling people names, stop it. If you spending your time veiling conspiracy theories in this movement, stop it. If you spend your time discouraging people from contributing and assisting our brave hearts, stop it. This is the time for all and sundry to recognize and take home the message of synergy. In my last broadcast, I talked about the need for us to create our own communication platform. I didn't know there was already one called Umojami. I'm going to talk about Umojami in my broadcast of this October 9. That's tomorrow, Saturday, October 9. And I'll give quite some information about it because there's already a platform existing. There's already a tool existing with already over 80,000 people using it. Oh my goodness, that is an outlet. And the good news is you can even use that platform without internet. Really? This is interesting. And so my people, as we are parting ways on this broadcast, look at this picture. Always remember this airport in Tico was international. Always remember that this was an international airport. Always remember that the Southern Cameroon was far more advanced in 1959, in 1960, 1961 than it is today in 2021, 60 years after. Always remember, have this at the back of your minds, because always remembering this will make us know why we are fighting. Will always remind us why we are in this movement. Will always remind us why we need to keep rolling up our sleeves and descending into the trenches. My people, I still hear those bells of freedom ringing and coming closer and closer and closer. They said yesterday, those naysayers, that no, there is nobody in the international community talking about us or recognizing us or feeling us. Oh, just 5 years, five. I will talk to you about these prisoners in a subsequent broadcast. My people, I'm delighted we had this beautiful moment today to share. Let us keep the conversation alive. Let us continue to talk about synergy. Let us continue to put in all efforts we can to build this synergy, because this synergy is going to be absolutely indispensable in shortening our trip to Southern Cameroons, shortening our trip specifically to Buea, our capital city. Until October 9th, Saturday, enjoy the rest of your time and have fun, most especially. Oh yes, we need it.